Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 7. In the intro to this video, I was building this, well, one of the buildings of all time here around the farm that we built in the last episode. Now, when I was building this, I did realize that, there were some slime blocks here that I forgot to account for, so I didn't put this slice of the building in, and now I'll have to modify this to actually work. But on the inside of this building, we built this apparatus for farming purpur blocks, or just purpur in general, from the chorus fruit here. Here's a question for Mojang. Why do the chorus plants produce purpur fruit? Or no, it's called chorus fruit. Why do chorus fruit produce pop purpur? Gosh, I don't know my game facts too well, do I? Alright then, it is time to basically shove all of these things down the black hole that is the altar and the sacrifice, and I have no idea what we're even doing here anymore. There, to be fair, don't appear to be consequences to not doing this. Then again, I have never not done this, technically. So, you definitely don't check any of my history on that, and I forgot to cook these apples. I will be right back. Anyhow, can't remember what I was saying. Probably something about I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it anyhow. Let's just skip the talking and get right to the sacrificing. Interesting. So that was green, but the text is just regular, the word more being white. I don't know how to take this. Anyway, the first order of business today is to finish off the area around this building here, as we need to both spread grass and stuff around it, as well as, you know, fix that and probably add an actual way to get into and use this farm. Grass has been grassified outside of the building here. Now I gotta go relocate this part of the contraption right here. Alright, that nasty little strip on the side of the building has been taken care of, and if we take a quick little peek inside, dang it, we'll see I just moved this over a block. It was not intentional, but that should be fine. Now I gotta make an actual proper, like, not real interior, but actual access system here, so it's not just like squeezing in the side here and having to parkour from here up to here so I can activate the farm. Alright, here's what the internals of this building looks like. So I don't have a door in yet. I'll do that. I also then need to build a path here. But on the inside, we now have a little platform here that goes down this way to the output chest for the farm, as well as I've added this bubble column here to return arrows to the system above, so you don't have to fly up there. Just drop them in here. I hopefully have enough hoppers up there to pick stuff up. If not, I gotta rearrange some stuff. Anyhow, coming over this way, I've added this button here, which connects around into the redstone down there to activate the farm. And yeah, that is, I guess, the interior of this building done. Alright, so I have placed in the path that goes back to the door here. I haven't decided if I want to, like, put these lampposts in along the path here, because I do have a torch here, and I want to get rid of that, but I'd have to add another torch over here, most likely, in that situation. Have done a decent job of lighting around the building. I did put end rods on the ground here. But yeah, besides that, nothing has changed on the inside. Actually, though, I can do a demonstration of the farm working. Hey, let's do that. So you press this button here. Spencer's fire. And then the water comes down to actually break everything. Then once the items have gone past, we can go by and start collecting the arrows. They do have like a 1-minute despawn timer or something like that, which is criminally low in my opinion for how long the arrows stick around. So you really do got to be quick about coming in here and picking them up, as I have definitely lost quite a few arrows from not coming in here and picking them up as fast as I should have. But as long as you're like going in as the water is retreating, you should be fine. And also that means that you can't really make this room too much bigger, else you're gonna have issues with the arrows. Anyhow, now that I've collected all these arrows, we can then come over this way and just start spitting them into this bubble column here. It's just way easier than flying all the way up, but we do want to check up here, how are the, see, I'm gonna have to move that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move this back to add more hoppers in here so we can actually collect basically all the arrows up here without having to worry about most of them despawning. The area up there has been extended. Hopefully there's enough hoppers for all the arrows to go around to. And now we move on to the expansion of the storage system. The downward expansion, to be clear, because despite the fact that I haven't yet filled all these up, I do feel somewhat restricted, considering the ever-growing number of items in here, on what I could potentially add here. So we're just going to add a whole second layer beneath this, and this will also mean that I won't have my miscellaneous chests right in this entranceway. Alright, here is, well, underneath the storage system, I just built out this giant cobblestone pad here, on which we can build the storage system. If this is your first time seeing it, welcome to the underside of my base. There's a few random things here. Most importantly is the sewer system, which is currently how I actually put items into the storage system. I haven't thought about how I'm putting shulker boxes or unloading shulker boxes into the system anymore. I've so far just been dumping stuff into the sewer here, which does hook up to the sorting system up there. But yeah, here we have the door for the altar here. We have the purper farm over there. Wool farm storage system right there. And over here, hidden by the sewer, we have the honey farm, which is entirely underneath the base. And then over here is storage for the apple farm. So yeah, anyhow, let's get some chesting in over here. Chests have been installed, as well as the hoppers that will directly feed them. Next up is, well, the actual sorter technology, I guess. Okay, and by the sorting technology, I mean literally the one of the most ancient Minecraft item sorting designs you'll ever have. Exactly the same as we have above. I've also put in the hoppers to connect everything together, and the overflow chests here. So yeah, I guess I'll move what's currently in the overflow chest in here, and then I gotta decorate this. Alright, here is what the lower level is looking like now. All snazzy like. Got all the chests on the sides, of course. The ends done up much the same as I did above. Quick ref. Oh, yeah, these stairs, by the way, they're completely temporary. I don't know how I actually want to get down here, so I just have these ugly temporary stairs where you can just literally see what's up on the roof here. Or on the ceiling there. But yeah, so, you know, we replicated these walls under here. And, yeah, the miscellaneous chest has been moved here, which, going back upstairs, now allows that to be an open doorway. And, yeah, I need to put an ender chest down here, and probably also a crafting table. That's about center. We'll get a crafting table, maybe a furnace or something down here. But yeah, besides that, I do still have this little door over here that's maybe a bit temporary, or maybe not, actually. But yeah, this allows me to get out to the sewer system. I busted this open so I can actually get inside to expand the system, because I feel like it might need expanding now that I'm actually kind of using it. But I do also probably need as a way to put items in here. But yeah, actually, what I might want to do now is I might want to make this like a little bit of a hidden door, so usually it's kind of seamless, you don't see it. But then you press a button, and the door opens, and you can just walk out back here. That sounds interesting. I think I'm going to do that quickly. Alright, so I've got these decorative buttons on the wall here, and as you can see, I don't think this looks too bad, putting buttons on top of the inwardly faced pillars. I haven't done it over there or upstairs yet because it is kind of more of a trial run, and I do think I kind of like this. Maybe it's a little bit heavy on the crimson wood here, but I think that's fine overall. But yeah, anyhow, you know, unsuspecting decorative buttons until you press this one, and a door opens over here that lets you out into the guts. Now, unlike the way my bed location worked in the last season, this isn't necessarily supposed to be a secret. I'm showing this all on camera right now. It's more the fact that it's convenient and looks nice for this to be hidden, and less of the other thing. But yeah, the button's over here. This comes around here, a bit of a pulse extender, and then the door here, button to get back in. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'll put these buttons elsewhere, and now it's time to move on. Now that I've got the storage system mostly to where I want it, mind you, I haven't configured any items down here, but I'm sure I will get to that in the future. I think it's finally time I built a super smelter, because I've had to be slowly smelting stuff by hand for this entire season so far. I'm sick of the waiting. We're building a super smelter, and I think it's going to go right about here, so let's hop into a time-lapse of that being constructed. Alright, Super Smelter has been constructed, and yeah, I decided to put this thing in here in kind of like an interesting location. So obviously it peaks up above the actual ground here. So I think next episode we're going to come around over this way, building a building up over the actual point where we load items into the smelter here. But in terms of the output, which is all the way down here, that's these chests right here, there's currently not really a way to get here outside of, you know, falling down there. So, yeah, I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. Aside from that, the entire thing, the actual, you know, smelter apparatus itself is designed to actually go entirely under the ground. Actually, I'm not entirely sure of how this will be. This may have to be a separate building all the way out here for fuel insertion. But, speaking of that, I actually gotta put in all the hopper minecarts that, will run this thing. So we put that one in there, and the rest, they can go in, well, this way here, as they get loaded into the dispenser in the back. Alright then, I think that's probably enough minecarts. I could get a couple more in there, but I don't think that's necessary. Now I actually gotta load the whole thing up with fuel, as these furnaces have a lot of storage space for fuel in them. Alright, I have loaded this thing up, theoretically, which I think just about enough fuel. From what I can tell, we might just barely fill up all the hoppers, or maybe we won't. I'm not entirely sure about that at the moment, but hopefully we do. Now, this super smelter design, actually, I didn't talk much about it because it is a super smelter. Woo, how revolutionary. But it's not revolutionary. I have built some form of this super smelter design in every single season of Coolcraft, including Season 1. Back in Season 1, that was episode 34 that I built the smelter in, which I felt was quite close to the end of the season, but I guess was a bit farther than I remember from the end. Oh yeah, also, in the underside here, I actually made a proper way to get down to the storage. But yeah, back in Season 1 when I built this farm, there was actually, it was a little bit different fuel-wise, because back then we had bamboo as a brand new item in the game, and also a bug, the zero-tick farm glitch, that allowed us to get absurd quantities of bamboo with very little effort, and very reliably at that. So the meta back then was to just create a few of those modules, stick them on the side of a super smelter like this, and then just automatically, whenever a furnace dropped below max fullness, or I guess a hopper, it would just activate the bamboo farms, and it would just refill the furnace. Infinite fuel super smelters. Until that glitch got patched, which at that point was partway through Season 2, where I had built the super smelter design with the bamboo generators, although back then, but in Season 2, because I didn't plan well enough with how I fit the smelter into my base, I had to like bend part of it by 90 degrees. That was fun. And then in Season 3, I more or less built this exact design here with the separate minecart rail here for loading items. And it's virtually remained unchanged since then. Of course, back in Season 3 and I believe Season 4 maybe, we did have chunk loaders on this because I like to frequently leave the chunks this thing was in while it's running. But in recent seasons, I haven't been doing chunk loaders for the super smelter. Actually, Season 5, I'm pretty sure well, Season 5 was chunk loaded for different reasons, actually. But last season, I didn't do a chunk loader for this. This season, I can't because there's no, well, currently there's no actual, like, proper chunk loading methods for the end. Yes, I guess there is the Ender Pearl method, but that's not, like, proper, because if I log off, that'll still screw up the farm. But I do not anticipate having to leave this area while this is running at the moment. Alright, the fuel has been fully filled in every crevice down there, so now it is time for the inaugural smelt. That is a word enough for me. So yeah, we just let this stuff trickle down into the chest. Oh yeah, I've added this little iron bar in the hole here so that you can inspect this chest and maybe pull out anything that's accidentally in there. But yeah, I think, yeah, now is about time. We press this button. It should release a minecart into the system, which should fill up pretty quickly. And then be sent off over all the furnaces where smelting will start. Now, as this goes off here, I will say that this is basically approaching the end of the episode. I need to get this episode out. It's literally got to go out tomorrow. So, cutting it close, going down to the wire here. But yeah, in the next episode, we will officially have surpassed Season 3 in terms of episode count, which is always pretty exciting to happen. So yeah, with this thing smelting, oh yeah, by the way, these hoppers here exist so, because in the past I've had weird situations where sometimes hoppers still have items in them, or minecarts still have items in them when they get here, so this just takes it out. But yeah, anyhow, with that being said, I'll just say thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 6, 7, whatever. Bye!